Today we're going to have a little look at my stalking kit. Stalking is one of my favourite methods of all, along with floater fishing, and it's something I spend more and more of my time doing, just because the involvement that you get with the carp when you can see what they're doing is absolutely heart-stopping. It's the sort of thing that not many people do, and if more people actually bothered to look for carp, they would see them, they would learn infinitely more about them. It's really, really addictive. So I'm just going to run you through some of the kit that you're going to need. Most important thing of all, ever, is a pair of polarising glasses. Okay, I still can't get over how many people go fishing without those. The difference in what you see wearing polarising glasses and just with the naked eye is phenomenal. It allows you to see carp that are doing all sorts of things that you just cannot pick up through surface glare, rippled water, all the rest of it. I tend to use the amber. I find them much better in all different light conditions. Pack yourself a pair. Probably the best 30 quid you're ever going to spend, and if you've got the money, stick a spare pair in your glove box because you might just sit on them. On the hardware side, a lot of stalking opportunities tend to be really close in. Okay, you're looking for fish that are up and down the margins, particularly in out the way areas where you've not got bivvies, you've not got a lot of pressure. If people can't fit 3 rods and a super big pod and a 2-man dome in there, they're not going to fish it. But you can get in and you can extract carp from some really tight, really entertaining little places if you go looking for them, which means you're after a short rod. This is the 9-foot extricator, which is 2 3/4 pound. It is beautifully progressive, really important, because you're hooking carp, you need that shock absorption, you need to protect your line. You are not necessarily going to be able to give them yards and yards of line. You're going to need to be on top of them, turn them over, beat them, duff them up, stick them in the net. Absolutely fantastic tool. There's a couple of just very nice little touches about this, because a stalker rod isn't just a cut down off the shelf rod. Okay, your best stalker rods are designed from scratch. Very progressive. Cork handle I like. It just stops slipping from under your arm when you're having a bit of a tussle. There's a keeper ring just at the top of the grip, which is perfect because you're going to probably wander around quite a lot. You might bait half a dozen spots, want to look here, look there. You're going to be quite mobile, so it just helps. Rather than sticking a rig in the rings, you've got a little keeper ring there to stick your hook in. The rings are also double-legged because a lot of the time it's going to be lying on the floor. You're going to be in some fairly hairy situations. It's all going to be quite intimate. You might clobber a few branches along the way. It needs to be quite roughy-tufty. It's twinned with one of the little MAP ACS reels, which is just a small free spool reel. Actually targeted at the matchman, but makes a perfect little match to a 9-foot stalker. Loaded with fluorocarbon. One little tip there is don't load it too much, because mostly you're going to be lowering baits in. You're not going to be casting at all. You are almost always just donking them in. You're going to see where they're going and there's no casting involved at all. If you fill that spool too much, you'll find just when you're trying to sneak a bait in and there's a couple of fat carp that have disappeared, you've got a little window of opportunity before your line comes peeling off the reel because you're tooled up to try and chuck as far as you can. Ain't going to help you at all. The other good bit of kit that you're going to need is a compact net. This is a Solace net, and I actually think it measures up a little bit smaller than most 42-inch nets, which for me is perfect, because the last thing you want is some sort of 50-inch stick a 6-foot catfish job in. What you need is something that you're going to get decent sized carp in, but you're not going to get caught up in every bush and bramble on the way to actually catching a carp. So between the two, nice padded unhooking mat as well. That's your hardware sorted. To get out and about, I actually use a fly fisherman's rucksack. These are available through the sort of Witchwood Fly brand. They are a little bit more expensive than carp kit, but I have to say they're worth their weight in gold. Carry an awful lot of kit, very comfortable, because fly anglers tend to move around a lot, same as when you're stalking. Lots of external pockets, you can tie things on, clip your glasses on, lots of places just to tuck a towel, spare leads, all sorts of stuff like that. Just means you can be mobile but still have all the stuff you need to fish effectively. And in that bag, really it's just the bare bones. You know, a lot of the time you're going to be mobile and stalking in the summer or when it's a little bit warmer. Lightweight waterproof, just a lightweight waterproof smock. That's just if it does happen to decide to lash it down on you. Selection of hook baits, bag of pellets, maybe some boilies, scale sling, bit of water keep you going, PVA, catapult, and then really it's just your basics. But the important thing is to keep it really nice and concise. You know, you don't need too much. There's no point in taking 20 leads, because you're not going to lose 20 leads. If you do, then I don't know how long you'd need to be there to do that. Okay, you're going to need 4, half a dozen at most. Couple of needles, couple of spares. Some ready tied rigs is always helpful, just because you're not going to be there that long probably, so you want to make the most of your time. Tackle box with all your bits and bobs in. And after that, the important thing is what you're doing with it, which means getting your glasses on and going and having a look around those edges, keeping quiet and look for those out of the way spots.